is how good Victor Wembanyama has the chance to be. He's one of the most unique players we've ever seen. It's going to be fascinating to see where he ends up tomorrow night.
Oh, my God. Who winds up with this guy?
It's going to be pretty interesting.
Figure out a way to get him to the Lakers. Okay. The Celtics are nearly
just get everybody to the
money
Lakers.
favorite.
Sure. Why not?
To win a record 18th NBA title after closing out the Sixers. Lakers are all the way down to a 3-1 underdog after opening the playoffs 14-1. They've more than quadrupled their chances. Those are the odds, guys. Which two teams will meet in the finals? In fact, we're going to show the picks right now. Here are our picks. Vince, you have Denver and Boston, Denver and Boston, Denver and Boston. And, of course, I have the awesome pick that everyone actually wants to see.
Lakers and Heat.
Lakers and Celtics.
I was just playing with it.
Lakers and Celtics, each sitting on 17 championships to decide the greatest franchise of all time. Can you beat that? You can't beat it.
You can't.
Guys, what does LeBron have to do to convince you? He's in the conference final. He was an 8 before the trade deadline. They were an 11 seed.
Squad. You're looking at the old squad. They're better.
LeBron James has arguably the best defense since the trade deadline. Some metrics have him as the best defense. Just enough shooting and an all-NBA caliber player with him. I don't know, in the past, that usually means he's in the finals.
They're playing the team that was first in the West all season, that has home court advantage, that has a two-time MVP who might be the best player on the planet. Who just averaged a 30-point triple-double in the conference finals. So I'm going to take Denver. However, I do think the Lakers can win. And if AD is the best player on the court, the Lakers can very well be in the finals against the Celtics.
It's all set up for Boston.
That you've seen in the past from LeBron James. But he's still the leader of the team. He's still the guy getting them organized. And when it comes down to it, like he did in the elimination game against the Warriors, he's the guy getting his 30 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds. So they match up from a talent standpoint. They match up from a defensive versatility standpoint. And they're a legit team. They can win this series.
All right, so when we look at the Denver Nuggets, I mean, they're fighting history coming into this series. 0-7 versus the Lakers in the playoffs. But unlike in 2020, the roles are reversed here. The Lakers are the lower seed this time. Why will the Nuggets, in terms of their depth, how will that be key for them here in this series?
It's a good point. It's the depth, but it's also the lineup versatility. On the Lakers side, they kind of have to make a decision. Are they going to go with a defensive-based lineup, say with a Jared Vanderbilt? If they do, they compromise offense and spacing. Are they going to go with an offensive lineup with a Dennis Schroeder and a D'Angelo Russell and put shooting on the court? If they do, they compromise defense. The Nuggets don't have to do that. They can play defensive-oriented lineups that can switch defensively, that are able to hold up, and also space the floor as shooters. So they don't have that dilemma. And I think that's the key for the Nuggets. Everything revolves around Nikola Jokic. I think he's the best player in the league. And that's the top bullet point in this series. But the lineup versatility and the depths of lineups that the Nuggets can play, they don't have to compromise as much based on offense, defense, switch-offs.
And it certainly is going to be a good series from that standpoint. Both teams have depth and both getting scoring from all over the lineup. Let's go over to the Eastern Conference. Jimmy Buckets has the Heat into the conference finals for the third time in 4 years. And again, it is a familiar foe. They face the Celtics. Boston needed 7 games to beat them last year. Do you expect this series to be as tight?
Yeah, I think, we should all be out of the business of doubting Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. I've been guilty of it, and Vegas is doing it again. They've got them at plus 1,200. They've got them at 97% chance of the Celtics winning this series. I mean, that's too much. That is too much. I don't know. I'm not a psychic. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I know that it is going to be a battle. Traditionally, Jimmy Butler and the Heat play the Celtics very tough. We can talk about matchups and schematics, but when it comes down to it, there's just something in the DNA of this matchup that tells you this is going to be a tight, hard-fought series. The Celtics do not perform well all the time down the stretch of close games. There's a tendency to play below their level of collective talent, so to speak. And I think if they slip from that, and the Heat, who pretty much always get the most out of their potential, you've got an opportunity for a very tight series. I think the Celtics will win. Maybe that makes me a talent snob. They are clearly the more talented and deeper team, more versatile team. But I'm done. I'm out of the business of doubting Jimmy Butler.
I was going to say, you're towing a dangerous line there, Brad, by picking the Celtics to win there, going against the Miami Heat the way that they've played in these NBA playoffs, certainly over the last few seasons. But when you look at this Celtics team, I mean, is it now or never for them at this point? I know we probably said that a few times, too, over the last few years.
I'm not going down that radical road. The same thing what you were trying to say about the Warriors right now. We're prisoners of the moment. The Warriors aren't done, and I don't think the Celtics are done. But Jason Tatum, I know he's not 19 years old anymore, as the joke was for so long, but he's a young guy. Jaylen Brown is a young guy. So as long as they keep that core intact, this is not, in my mind, this is not a now or never situation. However, it is also not in the honeymoon period, where earlier in their careers, they're making these conference finals runs, they're making a finals run, and it's like, oh, the future's still ahead of us. This is all icing on the cake. This is early. This is gravy. I don't think that's that anymore. We are into the prime of these guys' careers. It is time for them to win. Having said that, if they don't, this is not over.
Certainly into the window, it is open. All right, let's get to the Geico 15 bold statement. In 15 seconds or less, Brad, give us your pick to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
Denver Nuggets. Why? Very simple. Nikola Jokic should have been the MVP. He is the most valuable player in the league. He is a guaranteed good shot every time down the court. In the playoffs, bet on the team that is getting the most consistent quality half-court offense, and Nikola Jokic guarantees that via his passing out of double teams, and if you don't double team him, he kills you in the post, or with his feathery touch one-on-one as a scorer. So because of that, they are going to get the most quality, consistent, good shots, and to me, that wins out. Nuggets win the title.
CBS Sports NBA analyst Brad Botkin previewing the NBA's conference finals and giving us his picks to win it all. Says it is the Denver Nuggets. And let's look at the series in terms of game ones. We're starting on Tuesday night. Those Nuggets, 5.5-point favorites as they take on the Lakers. Game one in Denver, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then game one between the Heat and the Celtics. Celtics, 7.5-point favorites going into that opener with the total sitting at 210. That comes your way Wednesday.
Start to the season. Asked if the Lakers are playing with house money, LeBron said, nope, we're trying to win every hand. And here's a guy trying to do the same thing. Mike McClure joining us to give us his best plays of the series. Mike, we'll start in the West, where the Lakers really starting to figure things out defensively. They're allowing 104 points per 100 possessions in the playoff. That's a huge increase from the regular season when they allowed almost 112 points per 100. But is it enough to stop the Joker? Which side are you on here?
Yeah, this one's going to be tough. First of all, Grace, I think it's going to be a fantastic series. You mentioned the defensive adjustments. That's definitely the reason why the Lakers have been so good and why they were able to knock off Golden State there. So I like the Lakers in 7. I like a very deep series here. And it's really just a straight value play. When I look at my simulations versus the market, you got
points. Both of these teams are below average pace, but this still feels like a low number. So what's the play here?
Yeah, it's a low number here, and I think it's largely due to the fact that I think Miami's going to struggle to score here. When you look at the defensive ratings on this Boston Celtics team, and then you look one by one individually, I think they have a massive advantage in terms of the overall personnel. I also kind of expect them to make some defensive changes in this one. I think Derek White might jump back into the starting lineup and force the hand of the Miami Heat here a little bit. I think they're going to struggle to score. I think that we look at Boston, though. They've slowed down their pace drastically when we've got to the playoffs here. They're taking better shots, but they've slowed things down. I make the number in this game 208. Would not shock me at all if we see this thing close closer to that by the time this game ends.
All right, and we can't let you go without an MLB best bet. You're going to the Braves and Rangers, where Texas making a pitching change. They're giving Dane Dunning an extra day of rest. Cody Bradford gets the call up for his major league debut. He's been stellar so far in AAA. This Braves lineup, Mike, a different beast. So what's your move here?